They beat Youngstown State 68-59 in their first round game. Marquette and Purdue have already advanced in this quadrant. Marquette blowing out Toledo's MAC rivals Ball State, who just knocked them out of the MAC tournament in the semifinals. Opening tip controlled by Houston Baptist in their first ever appearance in a postseason women's basketball tournament in Division I is underway. There in blue, Toledo in white. Wild shot on the drive from Tamia Jefferson, who we just got done talking about. It's Toledo ball out of bounds. Your Toledo starting five, it's a familiar five. Wired, Lockett, and Goss, the guards. Sammy McConowitz, a stretch player who's really come on the second half of the year. And Jessica Cook, who made the MAC all-freshman team. Lockett, Toledo's leading scorer at 17.5 per game. This jumper on Toledo's first possession. And Houston Baptist, Kennedy Wilson, a really good floor general. Usually a pretty good three-point shooter, too, at 43%. Missed everything there with Jefferson. Vajakovic, a long and rangy outside shooter, and some real height in the front court. And Abby Sutherland and Marilyn Nzoiwu, both rim protectors. They've got 64 blocks between them this season. Be interesting to see how Toledo handles that height and athleticism on the inside that Houston Baptist presents. Lockett driving, and I think we called Nzoiwu a rim protector just a couple of moments ago, didn't we?
Yeah, did a good job there, just going up and getting that shot at its highest point there. And you talked at rim protectors, and what they do is that not necessarily block shots, as they can do, is they alter and they change shots on the floor. That makes that first shot success rate extremely difficult, as this Houston Baptist team is holding teams to 37% from a field goal percentage standpoint, 24% behind the big line. So they know how to get it done on the defensive end. It's carried them all season long, and they want to make sure it carries them here this evening as well.
Nzoiwu lost a contact lens, so Naomi Pierce checks in, a sophomore from Pflugerville, Texas. Here's Kara Goss on the inside, and when we talked with Donna Finney, the Houston Baptist head coach, one of the things she pointed out to us, Toledo does such a nice job at posting their guards, something they really haven't seen all season.
Yeah, they've done that with Kara Goss here in the latter part of the season. They post her up a lot more. And for Houston Baptist coming into this ball game, the shot knocked down there by Jefferson, control tempo. They want this game to be slow, half-court oriented, and get you down to the end of the shot clock. Ball security. They give up the basketball 16 times a game. They can't do that against this opportunistic Toledo defense. It likes to turn defense into offense. And three-point shooting. They shoot 32% on the season from the big line, but only 5 for 26 in their last ball game. Got to do a better job than that. For Toledo, early urgency in front of this big crowd here at Savage Arena. You want to get off to a good start, get some of that bad taste out of your mouth from the semifinal performance in the conference tournament. Ball movement, player movement. Stretch this Houston Baptist defense. That creates driving lanes and allows you to break down the stout defense from the Huskies. And transition offense. Get some easy baskets against this team that likes to play in the half court.
Sammy McConowitz all smiles after knocking down that early three. Three-point percentage up to 34%. Area where she really struggled the first half of the season in around the 8th, 9th, 10th game of Mid-American Conference play. It's like the light went off for her, and she started playing like she did last year as a true freshman. The runner nearly wedged between rim and backboard by Julia Vajakovic from Luxembourg. That's off of Vajakovic out of bounds. Let's welcome in the third member of our team, Dorian Kraft. Hey, Dorian.
Hi, Mason. Houston Baptist head coach Donna Finney said that she was disappointed with the way her team finished Southland Conference play after winning the regular season. She admitted that some of the shine has come off of their first postseason appearance. She said the team is dealing with what she called a crazy amount of loss. Several of her international players have lost family members, have been dealing with injuries. They've really been focusing this week on keying in, on locking in defensively to start the game. If she do that, she felt like her team had a good chance here tonight.
Dorian, thanks. If they're going to lock in defensively, that needs to start now. They're already in a 9-2 hole.
And then offensively, they only score 58 points a game. They were 7th in their conference in that area. And, they don't want to get behind too much here against this Toledo team that can really pour it on offensively, as Toledo averages 72 points a game coming into this one.
And like Houston Baptist, have been really difficult to score on. Jefferson spinning into the paint, drew the foul. That's on Jessica Cook, her first.
You see on the highlight, on the replay there, Jess Cook came down with her arms across Jefferson and not going vertical, straight up and down. That's where the call comes against you.
Cook, the freshman from Clay, New York, has a seat on the bench, and she's replaced by the MAC sixth player of the year, Hannah Novorosky, who at 6'5" would fit right in the Houston Baptist front court.
A little 2-2-1 pressure here by Houston Baptist, trying to slow down this Toledo attack, take time off the shot clock, force Toledo into a deep shot clock or end of the clock shot situation, and force a long jump shot where they can utilize their size and rebound that first miss.
Shot clock down to 8. Makonowitz had to pick up the dribble a long way from the basket. Here comes Quenisha Lockett, driving, goes up, can't score, but got fouled by Vajakovic.
Nice try by Quenisha Lockett. End of the shot clock. Doesn't panic and force a contested jump shot. Stake with the defense gives her. Gets all the way to the rim. Good explosion step there at the end to get by Vajakovic. Gets hit on the arm. Gets to go to the line for a pair.
Really enjoyed our conversation with Donna Finney of Houston Baptist a couple of days ago. It's really complimentary of this Toledo team. I think the made free throw sound effect went off a little too early. So for most of the year, Quenisha Lockett was automatic from the free throw line and then really had a rough go of it in Cleveland against Ball State when Toledo lost by 5, missed 6 free throws. Split the pair there, a 10-4 Toledo lead. And Coach Finney could not have been more complimentary of Quenisha Lockett and the kind of difference that she makes on the floor for this Toledo team. Haven't seen many players like her this year. Zoiwu back in the game after getting that contact lens put back in. Wired creating space and knocking down the mid-ranger.
And we talked about her playing her best basketball the last month or so of the season, and it's that shot right there. It's the mid-range, that 8 to 12-foot jump shot that she's taking full advantage of. Because she's capable of getting all the way to the rim, but sometimes you drive the ball so deep you get in traffic, and it's hard to finish. But putting that mid-range game to use has really elevated her offensive prowess.
That's a deep three from Vajakovic, and it goes. She really struggled, as most everybody else did, for Houston Baptist in their upset loss in the semifinals of the Southland Conference Tournament. There's a putback for Hannah Novorosky off the missed 3. As a team against Incarnate Word, they lost 54-33. They shot just 18% from the floor, and Vajakovic 0 of 9 held scoreless. Normally a pretty reliable outside shooter at 33%. Here's Kennedy Wilson on Lockett on the inside, and Lockett grabs the rebound. Novorosky, the high catch. Didn't get the bounce, but was fouled by Tamia Jefferson. So the MAC sixth player of the year will be at the free throw line when we come back. Opening round action of the 2022 postseason.
And it all starts tonight, getting win number 27.
Dorian, thank you. You could certainly make a case, a darn good one, that Toledo should have made the field of 68 for the NCAA women's basketball tournament. Charlie Cream, the bracketologist for women's basketball for ESPN, had them in his next 4 out. Ultimately, despite the Mid-American Conference garnering so much respect from women's college basketball fans, coaches, etc. around the country, the conference RPI certainly indicates it was a good year for the league at 11th out of 32. Not enough quality wins in the end is what really hurt Toledo's at-large chances.
And I think that's where the frustration comes in with coaches in the Mid-American Conference is they talked about quality wins. Well, it's hard scheduling. It's hard to get teams to schedule you. When you're a powerful mid-major program or a very successful mid-major program, the Power Fives hesitate to schedule you and give you those opportunities to get those quality wins, like you mentioned. And you look at Toledo. They got to look at the Power Five wise. They played Seton Hall, who was in the Big East semifinals. And they lost the game, but it was in overtime. And so they're definitely deserving. They're a competitive, quality team. 26 wins on the season. But they just don't. Mid-majors, they just don't get a lot of opportunity to get those quality wins, especially on your home floor.
Novorosky denied on the inside by Abby Sutherland, one of very few times this year in which Novorosky has gone up against a player of similar height. She's 6'5", Sutherland 6'4". Another wayward jumper from Houston Baptist, who is a really good defensive team teams for the season shoot 37% against them, but they have really struggled at times to put the ball in the basket. 35% collectively for the year, and just 2 of 10 so far tonight. Here's Jada Jansen, first guard off the bench for Toledo. That's off the mark and off of Novorosky, out of bounds.
You talked about Houston Baptist and their occasional struggles, from the field. You look at that loss to Incarnate Word, where you talked about it, where they scored 33 points. They only had 8 paint points, which means they were living on the arc, you're living on the perimeter, and when you don't get first shots to go or your initial shot to go, that can wear in your mindset. And it certainly was a tough day for them, and it hasn't been easy early on for them here either in Savage Arena.
Tamia Jefferson in that game was 8 of 18 from the floor. The rest of the team, a mind-boggling 2 of 37. And Coach Finney told us that they didn't defend particularly well early on. That really kind of bled into their offensive game. That 3 not there for Jefferson. Here's Nan Garcia in off the bench, and that's what she does best. Missed 7 games with a knee injury at the start of Mid-American Conference play. Has slowly but surely been working her way back to fitness. We'll need to have a minor knee procedure in the offseason to clean up a pre-existing injury that was aggravated when Toledo went on the road and beat Kent State.
Well, she's an extremely versatile player, Nan Garcia. Pick and pop player like you saw in that last possession. She can post you as well, and it's a tough matchup. For opposing clubs, and she's only going to get better and better as she gets healthy, into this offseason and next season.
Kennedy Wilson's free throw goes. She's been banged up for the last month or so, but grinding it out. Houston Baptist's first ever NCAA Division I postseason tournament basketball game. In fact, it's just their second winning season in Division I. Their last was their first. They went 14-11, their first year in D1, 2007-08 campaign. This year 16-10, 12-2 in the Southland Conference. Just trying to hang around against a really good Toledo team. It's going to be tough to hang around if they don't start making shots. And we said they were 18% from the floor against Incarnate Word when they got upset in the semifinals of their conference tournament. 2 of 12 so far. That's below 18%. Here's Garcia. She'll try another. Comes up empty. Kara though, the offensive rebound, to the putback dances home.
Yeah, Kara Goff acted like a defender on that play. Had inside position, simply just blocked out her defender and got the offensive rebound putback.
Rightfully so, was on the MAC All defensive team. Someone who's become a bit more diverse of a scorer lately. That's way off from D. Collins. Goss on the run out, but a nice job of transition defense by Houston Baptist. Got 3 players back. That means nobody's minding Sophia Wired. McConowitz with the offensive board. Finds Wired cutting to the hoop and got bumped by Collins.
Yeah, good job. Toledo just being active on that offensive glass. McConowitz with an offensive rebound. CC Wire got a good look at it. Didn't get it there, Sammy McConowitz. That's what Sammy McConowitz does. It's just her activity level. Beats defenders to spots. It picks up a number of offensive rebounds. In her last 24 out of 28 ball games, Sammy McConowitz has hauled in 5 rebounds or more. One of those including that record-setting performance here at Savage Arena, where she tied the single-game rebounding record of 22 rebounds.
It was a record that had stood on its own since 1985. Wired hits the 2 free throws. Yanaya Curry in the game for the Rockets, sophomore from Cottleville, Missouri. Jetta Jansen, hands so active to knock that away from Jefferson, and a nice save by Nan Garcia. Thought better with a really deep 3.
Toledo's been excellent in the 50-50 balls so far here in this ballgame. It's been on the offensive glass, loose balls like you saw there.
Jansen on the drive, nothing there. Garcia, her second three of the opening quarter.
That's just good, patient basketball by Toledo, and being unselfish at that, getting Garcia the open look from the top.
Spinning away from Houston Baptist early. Enya McGuire out there, a sophomore from Belfast in Northern Ireland. Sister Anna also on the team. Vijakovic driving, gets it to go. Nice soft touch.
That creativity there. A little running half hook. But right now, if you're Houston Baptist, you'll take any basket. You can get it no matter how. You get it up and down.
Julia Vijakovic, second team all-conference. 9.2 points a game. Garcia driving. Missed the layup, but the follow goes.
She's been active so far here. Good read of the defense there. They're going to run at her, try to get her off the arc. After knocking down two triples, she gets out of the way of the cup, gets on the glass.
Jefferson on the drive, got bumped. She'll head to the line with 8 seconds left.
Yeah, one of the rare straight line drive opportunities that Tamia Jefferson has had in this ball game. We're able to get to her strong hand, get to that left side.
Soleil Barnes in for the first time for the Rockets. We talked to Coach Finney about Tamia Jefferson, what makes her so successful, and she says teams have to plan for it. She can beat you off the dribble, but she's so good at finding angles, just getting into your body and getting to the line. It's what she does best. 88%.
Yeah, if you're to this is a spot where you do not want to see her at, you mentioned 88%. You know, 4 times she's been over the 20-point mark this season, and her season high was 28 against McNeese State. So obviously she's capable of scoring in bunches.
Final seconds of the quarter. Wired flips it up, but cannot flip it in, though. Nice try as she fell down. She's all smiles, and why not? At the end of a really good first quarter for the Toledo Rockets. Motivation certainly not in question in the opening round of this WNIT. 6-11. Mason Lowry, Red Boyd in the booth. Dorian Kraft, what's the word from the Houston Baptist huddle?
Mason, Houston Baptist head coach Donna Finney told her team the biggest problem offensively, they have no points in the paint. For a team that always has a height advantage and scores the majority of their points there, they don't have any. She told her girls, you need to cut harder, you need to post up, and you have to call for the ball inside.
Dorian, thanks. Coach Finney will like that. Julia Vijakovic dislodging the ball from Jessica Cook. Rockets diving after it to tie it up. Arrow will keep it with the Huskies.
And that's important. I think Coach Finney hit the nail on the head. We got to be able to get paint touches, you know, whether it's scoring in the paint or forcing the defense to collapse and getting some easier looks from the perimeter. And we talked about it in our last ball game. That was a problem for them as well, with only 8 paint points against Incarnate Word. So let's see if they're able to do a better job in that area.
Well, that's a sharp cut, but not the result that Coach Finney would have wanted. Rocket ball out of bounds. Donna Finney, maybe the most interesting, certainly the most unique of all Division I college basketball head coaches, the only one from outside of the U.S. She's from Scotland. Told us the other day she had never even really heard of basketball until first day of high school when a teacher in the hallway called out, get to PE block at 4 p.m. You're trying out for basketball. She had played netball as a kid, which is similar to basketball, but not quite the same. Ended up in the U.S., played at Lamar on scholarship for a couple of years as Enya McGuire buries that 3.
And she's capable off that Houston Baptist bench. 34 made triples for Enya McGuire now on the season.
I tell you what, talking about ball screen coverages and such with someone with a lilting Scottish accent, something I can check off the old bucket list, not something I expected to ever be in a position to do. Soleil Barnes letting it fly from the top. And corralled by Abby Sutherland, who has really struggled to score this year, shooting just 28% from the floor. Though curiously better from 3 than 2. 31% from outside, 28% in totality. Jefferson the kick out. Collins from the top, and that's a couple of threes early in the second quarter for Houston Baptist.
Yeah, well needed too for Dee Collins, averaging 9 points a game. That's only her 8th made triple. So to see that ball go through the net could be big for her confidence from distance.
Well, they left Lockett alone. Couldn't cash in. Soleil Barnes trying to get after it, ends up in the hands of McGuire. And Lockett tipping that over the Toledo bench. Phoenicia Lockett, first team all-conference in the MAC this year. Elizabeth Matati Number 40 is in there at 6'5", a freshman from Irving, Texas. Lauren Mapusua, 13, is from Australia but has been in the States for some time. Played at Hutchinson Community College and then at Central Arkansas for half a season. Matati going right over Jessica Cook.
Yeah, good job squaring up on Jessica Cook. Had space and got to the left side. Good, strong, assertive move by Matati.
Tornado run to start this second quarter from Houston Baptist. Barnes looking for the entry pass. Found Makonowitz, but was crunched between two much bigger players. Biankovic on one side, Matati on the other, and Biankovic picks up the foul.
You know, Toledo in this quarter, they've had a hard time with ball movement. Getting that ball side to side, stretching out this big and long Husky defense. Had some success in the first quarter with it, but a little stagnant here to start the second. And on the other end of the floor, Houston Baptist has got some buckets.
Cook inside, nice footwork, a chance for three at the line as Matati picks up the personal.
You saw Matati with a patient, assertive move on the other end of the floor. This time Jess Cook returns the favor. Little head fake, got Matati to shift. Good step through, up and down off the window. Jess Cook to the line for an old-fashioned three-point opportunity.
How good has the Toledo three-headed monster at the 5 spot been this year between Cook and Novorosky and Garcia?
It's been critical. It's, you know, you said what's been the big turnaround from a 12-win season a season ago to a 26-win season? It's been a lot of things. First of all, your core has got another year of experience under their belt, played great basketball, but it's been the interior. It's that three-headed monster that allows you to match up better defensively and allows for greater versatility on the offense of the floor. And it was a huge reason why they were able to put 26 wins up, in 19 of them in the Mid-American Conference.
19-1 in the league. The only loss being here against Ohio. CC Hooks, the league's all-time leading scorer, was unguardable in the second half. And that's booted over the scorer's table. Fresh 20 for the Huskies.
And I think in that game, losing here at home, and then to be able to go on the road and beat Ohio, and then again in the MAC tournament, just showed you the competitive mindset, of this club. And Ohio is one of those teams that play a very unique style, very difficult to guard, but they were able to make adjustments with the versatility within their roster. They were able to come away with a couple of big wins against the Bobcats.
That's Collins going at Makonowitz. D. Collins will head to the free throw line.
Not much to that move. That's catch the ball, wheel and deal. Strong with the right hand. Got to the inside of Makonowitz. Got the angle and gets to the line. It's a good assertive drive by D. Collins, who knocked down a three earlier. This time put the ball on the floor, getting to the rim, showing her versatility.
Her strength and her quickness make her such a difficult guard. 9.4 points, 6.4 rebounds a game this season. Now has 5 points, all coming in the second quarter. Huskies trying to mount a charge. They trailed by as many as 16 in the first quarter. The Rocket lead has been trimmed down to 8. Nowhere for Cook to go. Collins took it away, but only momentarily. 10 on the shot clock for Toledo. Lockett around Matati, couldn't score. Cook tries to go back up, and she'll shoot 2. Took a shot to the face, I think.
Jess Cook's ability to get to the glass, number one, is because of their high motor, but number two is to drive by Lockett, force the help. That lets Jess Cook to slide right in behind where the help came from. She's able to get on the glass here, get some contact amongst that height inside with Mapusua as well as Matati on the inside. Jess Cook fighting her way through, but free throws. A struggle here for Toledo, only 4 of 8. It was one of those areas that they struggled with in that semifinal loss to Ball State in the conference tournament. They were 13 of 21 in that ball game from the free throw line.
Really hurt the Toledo men, too, of course. Their loss to Akron, an outstanding free throw shooting team who was really poor at the line. Saw their season come to an end here the other night in the first round of the NIT, hosting Dayton because UD Arena was hosting the NCAA tournament's first four.
I came and watched that ball game. They were awfully impressive, that Dayton team, and they're poised to make a run and prove a lot of those committee members wrong for leaving them out of the tournament.
Mapasua denied at one end. Here comes Lockett to the other. Held to just 3 points so far. Quenisha Lockett. That's good D by Matati. Really good. The 6'5 freshman.
Yeah, good defense. A little bit of force there by Jess Cook.
You can certainly see how this Houston Baptist team can be difficult to play against. That's a tie-up. Great strong hand in there from Cook to force the turnover. Arrow favors the Rockets. Tricia Colum always coaching. Players come out of the game. And Garcia back in for Toledo. A couple of threes in the first quarter. And a putback too. 8 points in just 4 minutes. Good positioning by Garcia. Help came from McGuire, and she couldn't cash in on the inside. Jefferson spinning, but unable to score. Player that the Toledo coaches kind of compared her to was Cece Hooks, who we mentioned earlier, a left-hander that can really drive and score in a number of different ways. Here she comes, going right at the teeth of the Rocket defense.
Did a great job getting that strong hand down that left side. Good quick move at the end of it there to get it up and down. All of a sudden, Houston Baptist, who's down 15 at one point, has got this, cut it in half, cut the lead in half, got it to 7.
That'll be Toledo ball out of the timeout. Houston Baptist outscoring Toledo 12-4 in this second quarter. They are finding their footing. Tanya McGuire with a big...
Mason, Houston Baptist not intimidated by the atmosphere here at all. They played a game in November at New Mexico in front of 4,000 fans. Houston Baptist head coach Donna Finney felt that really prepared them to take on this type of environment. Their home gym, Sharp Gym, very small, but it gets very loud. She says it mimics the atmosphere here inside Savage Arena, and so far the Huskies have done a good job neutralizing this crowd in the second quarter.
Indeed, Dorian Thankett, they certainly haven't been intimidated. And Garcia blocked on the inside. Been really impressed with Houston Baptist so far in the second quarter.
I've been impressed with their ability to handle adversity. Getting down 16 in the opening quarter and a long way from home isn't the best scenario, but they've settled in defensively. They made things tough for Toledo, and offensively, they found their rhythm in that mid-range, in driving the ball to the rim here in the second quarter. They've been outstanding, 14-4. They've lost it. It's a 5-point ball game once again.
Huskies were woeful from the floor in the first quarter. In the second, they're 5 of 8. It's Toledo's turn to go ice cold. Just 1 of 8. There's Goss stepping in. Nice finish.
When the going gets tough, Toledo goes to their guards on the inside. They little inversion there. Post players pop out. Guards post inside. Kara Goss, her second bucket from the interior.
McGuire, yes. Anya McGuire, her second 3 coming off the bench. Had a couple of big games in Southland Conference play. 14 points, back-to-back games at Southeastern Louisiana and Nicholls State. Somebody who wasn't brand new to the American game when she got to college as a foul is called off the ball. That's on Lauren Mapasua. Both McGuire's sisters, Anya and Anna, came and played at the Hun School in Princeton, New Jersey before making their way into the American college ranks. The Yakovich back in. We mentioned is from Luxembourg. In fact, she's not the only member of the Luxembourg national team who's playing in the WNIT tonight. And Simon is the America East Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year for Maine in action tonight at Boston College. Here's Lockett launching a deep 2. Collins dove after it. It is tied up right on the foul line. Arrow Give it to Houston Baptist. Probably would have been a shot clock violation anyway. Sophia Wired, the Rocket floor general, returns. Rockets have it a rough one so far. 1 of 7 from the floor, has missed all 3 threes that she has attempted.
They've been giving her a lot of space on the catch and trying to take away that drive of hers, and just hasn't been able to find the range from the perimeter.
Dee Collins, man, she has come to life in the second quarter. Don't look now, it's a 2-point game.
And she's been a big reason why. Knocked down a 3, got her some confidence, and then she's taken the ball to the hole a couple of different times with success. Between her and McGuire knocking down a couple threes. Houston Baptist had one heck of a quarter so far.
Toledo needs a bucket in the worst way. Garcia couldn't score with a much taller Sutherland, and that came off the leg of Jada Jansen.
So they'll get the ball where they want to on the inside. It's just the ball, it's not getting up on the backboard quick enough, and the defense is converging, and that defense is 6 foot plus.
I don't know, Vorosky will spell Nan Garcia the last couple of minutes of the half. And in turn, Donna Finney will send Elizabeth Matani into the game. The second quarter really has been a total inverse of the first. The Huskies now have a chance to tie or take the lead on this trip. That was tipped by Wired into the hands of Kara Goss. Running with Vijakovic. Goss finishes off the glass. Much needed bucket for Toledo.
Yeah, converting defense into offense. And Kara Goss has been in double figures 2 of her last 3 ball games. She's got 8 already here in the first half.
Vijakovic. That's a deep 2. Mikonowicz grabs the rebound. 4 of 6 from 3. The Huskies in this game, and there's Sophia Wired from the outside.
Yeah, good ball screen there in semi-transition by Novoroski. The defender goes underneath. Wired just steps right into the 3 and drills at her 37th of the season.
See if the Huskies can reclaim momentum before halftime. It's been building throughout this second quarter. Tamia Jefferson nearly got baited into a much earlier shot than she was hoping for. McGuire bricks that from the corner. Novoroski with Matani, 6'5" v. 6'5". 6'5" wins.
Just couldn't get the angle on the other side of the backboard.
Wired with a kick. Shot clock off at the end of the half. Huskies will have the final possession if they want to use it. Kennedy Wilson returns.
Curious to listen to Coach Cullop's comments here coming into the half, what they'll be. I wonder, she talked about this in the end of the MAC regular season. I think it was the Northern Illinois game, or it was the Western Michigan game at the end of the year, where their decision making had to be quicker to get the ball where they could make some plays in space.
Jefferson, step back 3 in and out. Now that's how the first half comes to a close. A great second quarter still from Houston Baptist, plus 8 on the scoreboard, 19-11 over Toledo in that period.
Yeah, it was a great job by them. Down 16 on the road. Shows a lot of mental toughness. The page quickly, but not just physically to get healthy, but the mental and emotional aspect of it, to get rejuvenated, to take advantage of a great tournament. You have an opportunity to play teams that you never see before. And that's cool within itself. And then you said a springboard for next season, just constantly getting more reps on the floor. And then you have a chance to do something special. You know, play in front of a big crowd and against big teams and big moments. Like we saw back here, right here in Savage Arena in 2011 when they had one heck of a run to win it all.
Kara Goss was tied for the Toledo scoring lead in the first half. She had 8 points, as did Nan Garcia coming off the bench. Short jumper goes on the paint for Jessica Cook.
And good job, Jess Cook, on the drive to the baseline side, the respacing. It's curling up in the middle of the key to create space, create a passing angle. Good soft touch.
Cook now joins Goss and Garcia with 8 points each. 7 from Sophia Wired as well. It's Dee Collins showing off that muscle on the inside. She was really good in the first half. Now 11 points for the game. That's one player that really does need to get it going for Toledo if the Rockets are going to pull away, and that's Quenisha Lockett.
Yeah, you got to get her going for sure. But if you told Coach Cullip she's got 3 points and you're up 7, she'll be okay with it. But you got to get her going, your leading scorer, because she'll just create opportunities for everybody else around her when she starts seeing the ball go through the net. So they'll put a little pressure here, a little 2-2-1 pressure against Houston Baptist. They can increase the tempo a little bit, try to speed them up.
So largely turnover-free first half, just 5 in total. 3 committed by Houston Baptist, 2 by Toledo. Jefferson waits for an opening, lost her footing as she tried to stop. Tough shot over Wired, and it goes.
Yeah, tough shot too. Wired did a good job of cutting the corner off of her, but good adjustment by Jefferson to finish over the top.
Like her game an awful lot to me at Jefferson. Southland Conference Player of the Year, and Coach Finney told us when we talked the other day, it kind of came as a surprise to her. She didn't feel she was nearly as good as she was last year. She averaged 15 points a game. Maybe that's all Quenisha Lockett needs for the light to flip back on.
Yeah, got a good burst along the baseline there. No help by Houston Baptist on the weak side. She got to the left side and got it up and down.
Both these teams got auto bids into the WNIT. Toledo, regular season champs, of course, in the MAC. Houston Baptist, regular season champs in the Southland Conference. From the corner, that won't go for Dee Collins.
Good box out by Kara Goss on the inside.
Toledo with a commanding plus 11 advantage on the boards. McConowitz driving, got fouled by Elizabeth Matati.
Good read by McConowitz there. Beats the recovery of the defense, puts the ball on the deck. You see right here, there was Sutherland there that is late on the recovery. She gets to her left hand and beats Matati to the rim as well.
That's her second foul. Marilyn Nzoiwu has only played 4 minutes. Matati, someone that is not in the regular rotation, has had to play 7. A couple of points, a rebound, and a block. Uncharacteristically poor free throw shooting from Toledo. 5 of 11 at the line. As we talked about, did give them some trouble in Cleveland as well. Matati with a miss. Wired so good at keeping that dribble alive, but couldn't score.
Well, she's usually pretty good on the finish on the reverse layup as well. She lost that going up or not, but again, another opportunity at the rim. They just couldn't cash in for Toledo.
Kind of a loose dribble there by Jefferson. Arrow's going to keep it with the Huskies.
Huskies possession.
To me, at Jefferson, Dee Collins and Kennedy Wilson were all high school teammates at Timberview High School in Mansfield, Texas. That's a state power team coached by Kit Martin, who has produced dozens of Division I talent over the years. Kennedy Carter, probably the best known, plays for the LA Sparks, was National Freshman of the Year at Texas A&M some time ago. Coach Finney puts real stock in who has coached her players or players that she's recruiting prior to getting to campus. If you've played for Kit Martin, then chances are you're going to be a pretty darn good college player. Lockett going baseline. Trying to corral her own miss. So it ends up in the hands of Kennedy Wilson, who is the last of the 3 Timberview High players to commit to Houston Baptist. Jefferson and Collins were recruited together. In fact, told a really funny story to ESPN.com a few years back as Matati blocks Lockett but got too much body to send her to the free throw line. on their visit to campus when Jefferson and Collins were at HBU, the team all got together and watched an Australian horror movie called The Babadook, which Collins says the scariest movie that she's ever seen. But that experience of watching that horror movie together gave them the sense that team's not going to leave them by themselves when the going gets tough. Ironically, even though Kennedy Wilson wasn't present for Scary Movie Night, she did commit on Halloween. Makes perfect sense.
It's poetic.
Clock at 79% for the year at the line. Makes those two. Lead up to 9.
Quinnish Lockett did a good job last couple of possessions, driving the ball hard to the rim. Again, Toledo trying to use her length and quickness here to turn Houston Baptist over. Almost got the steal and score opportunity.
And Nzoiwu is in the game now, by the way. Watani with 3 fouls in 8 minutes. Shot clock at 1. Wilson has to launch. McConowitz takes the rebound away from Wire.
It's a good defensive possession by Toledo.
Lockett. In and out. Wilson in a hurry. Wouldn't roll in. It's tapped to Kara Goss. Abby Sutherland racing back defensively. Goss had just got it to go and a chance for 3.
That's a great job by Kara Goss. She wanted to get to the left hand, but had to alter the shot in midair due to the size. See her barely the first minutes. It's allowed them to get out in transition and play in space more than just walking it up and playing in the half court, which plays in the hands of Houston Baptist. So for Houston Baptist, we'll see if they can't generate some more flow offensively and then get back all 5 defensively, where they had some success in the second quarter. Against this Toledo team where they outscored them 19-11.
Another missed free throw from Toledo. D. Collins, nice find. That Sutherland couldn't cash in from close range. We said earlier, just a 28% shooter from the floor. Lockett weaving her way to the cup. McConowitz couldn't corral the miss. Tell you what, this Houston Baptist team, their size makes them really tough to deal with. As I say that, Nan Garcia strips it away from D. Collins, nearly had it taken right back. Xenia McGuire, who was lurking, knocked down a couple of big first half threes, as did Garcia. A healthy, fully healthy Nan Garcia next year is going to make this Toledo team, I have a feeling, that much better. Sophia Wired with a miss. Nzoiwu with the rebound. Garcia was really just starting to hit her stride before the knee injury at the end of December. Sutherland gets that to roll in.
Yeah, good job. Got a mismatch there. Sutherland size inside against Sophia Wire. Got too deep in positioning. Just had to get over the ball over the shoulder.
We had noticed for a bit with Nan Garcia there wasn't a whole lot of lift on her jump shots, and some of the lift has been coming back lately. She got 8 points in quick succession in a late regular season game against Northern Illinois. She said afterwards the lid to the pot finally boiled over, which I thought was a great way to phrase that.
Well, an off season where she can get healthy or more healthy. Nice job. There's McGuire. Once again, that's 3 triples for her off that bench. But for Dan Garcia, just to have an off season where she can get the procedure done on her knee and just get in rehab and be healthy come next year will be big. It'll be big for just the efficiency. She has a great stroke, but you need your legs to get that lift. And she'll get that back.
Set a screen there for Goss at the end of the shot clock. She'll drive, the reverse layup goes.
That's a good job. Again, end of the shot clock, doesn't panic. Got to the baseline and finish.
Jefferson. And Garcia, by virtue of just kind of standing in the way, forced a tough shot. Here's McConowitz. Boarded by Collins. Brittany Collins, 11 points and 6 rebounds coming off the bench. Really like Enya McGuire's stroke. 3 of 4 from outside. Certainly someone that's not fazed by this big crowd. Much bigger than the Huskies normally see. Dorian told us about that earlier in the game. And Zoiwu comes up empty.
Good job, Garcia, just holding her ground, going straight up and down.
You know, so often those small but mighty venues like the one Houston Baptist plays in can be every bit as difficult to play in as a big arena with a lot of fans. That's a big reason why Toledo men's coach Todd Kowalczyk likes to go down and play at the University of Findlay in preseason. Garcia off the feed from McConowitz. They'll set it up again with a scramble for the offensive board.
Well, those close confined arenas, it gets loud. It gets loud. It's hard to hear. It's hard to communicate. It can be a tremendous home court advantage for you. They're going to get an illegal screen, I think, on Garcia here. They tried to seal and roll on contact and take out the defender, but a little too much movement. A classic example of that around here. Remember the old Anderson Arena just on I-75
the
at
house
Bowling
that
Green.
roared.
You were right on top of the floor. It was hot. You couldn't hear, couldn't communicate. It was a tremendous advantage for those teams, before they closed up shop and moved to the Stroh Center.
Dee Collins knocks down the deep 2. They're back within 6.
Now they put a little 2-2-1 here. And Houston Baptist just will not go away, hanging around. If you're Coach Finney, it's all you can ask for. Give yourself a shot late, and they're putting themselves in a position for that.
Wire tried to lob that inside for Novoroski, but Sutherland, the long arm of the law, to bat it down. Collins will go to work on Novoroski. Good defense. Shot clock off at the end of the quarter. Toledo, you're looking for one good look at the basket.
You get a double ball screen here for Sophia Wire. Let her make decisions.
Lockett, the lob. Novoroski couldn't finish. So it's a 2-possession game, Rhett, going into the 4th.
Well, if you're Coach, like I said, Coach Finney, you're happy right now. Hey, you cut the deficit by 1 here in the 3rd quarter. If you're Toledo, just got to keep chopping away and see if you can't try to get. Yeah, they were able to just sustain that run that Toledo made early on and just kind of settled in and made things tough, kind of muddied up the game, if you will. And I think if you're Toledo, we talked to that off air, just that quarter alone, they had 4 point-blank layups at the front of the rim, and they just did not convert. And as a result, you're in a 2-possession ball game where you could have some separation here. So we'll see, what happens here for Houston Baptist. Trying to get to a great start in this quarter and try to cut into this deficit. Now let Toledo get separation.
That's not what they would have wanted to see. Quenisha Lockett finally knocking down an outside shot.
Yeah, it's been a struggle for her, this evening, but she has not lost confidence. She continues to attack, and that time saw the ball through the net.
Houston Baptist, regular season champions of the Southland Conference. Really been impressive the last 20 minutes or so. Giving Toledo the MAC regular season champs a game. They are in a dogfight here in the 4th. Lauren Mapusua nearly banking in a prayer at the end of the shot clock. Shooting just 35% for the game. That's roughly their season average. McConowitz had to pick up the dribble. Nice find. Cook to the line. Got fouled by Amy Cotton. Her first action off the bench, a freshman from Australia.
It's a good job there by Samuel McConowitz. She was patient. She pivoted. Couldn't find anybody in the perimeter. And found Jess Cook with inside position over the top. And Jess Cook gets contact. Gets to go to the free throw line. She's had a nice, solid freshman campaign for this team. We talked about part of the three-headed monster inside for Toledo. It's been just done a great job providing some interior offense as well as post defense. Averaging 8.5 points coming into this one, just under 6 rebounds a ball game. Excellent free throw shooter, but having her struggle here this evening from the line.
I've been sensing the last 2 quarters and now into the 4th, something that we haven't experienced much inside Savage Arena this year, and that's kind of a nervous energy.
Well, I think you look at this game.
That's great defense to wall off to me at Jefferson. You were saying?
Good team defense there, but it's because of the opportunities that have been there that you just haven't converted, and you just feel like, man, we could be in a double-figure lead right now, but we're letting them hang around, and they're going to make a push, and but right now, when you're having those moments in for Toledo, it's a veteran club, even though they are a young club, it's a veteran club. They've got 2-3 years of experience. You just play the next play. You play the next possession, you win that possession, and you move forward, and they've done that, throughout this season, and put to use once again here this evening. Got this lead back up to a double figures. After dealing with some struggles, from the field.
Misha Lockett now with 12 points. The Toledo lead up to 12. Maybe now they can finally start to pull away that full court pressure, forcing a turnover. Okonowitz to the bucket, denied by Vajakovic. Could not turn defense into instant offense. Here's Cotton. Flips it up and in.
Yeah, 3-on-2 in the back end. Cotton took the ball right to the rim, but here comes Toledo the other way.
Cook inside, missed it. Sutherland grabs the rebound. Cotton off back iron. Who did not play in this game until the start of the fourth. Lockett tried to swing that into Cook, who found it eventually and got fouled on Sutherland or Cotton, one of the two Australian post players. It's Amy Cotton's first foul. It's a Houston Baptist ball club, by the way, with a really unique makeup, which makes sense when you have the only international head coach in Division I basketball. 6 players from Texas, 1 from Oklahoma, 4 from Australia, 2 from Northern Ireland, the McGuire sisters, and 1 from Luxembourg.
I think, too, for both these clubs, coming into this ball game, they've been off a week, and that's good, because you can physically, mentally, emotionally recharge. It's good in those aspects, but it also, being off a week, takes you out of your rhythm of where you're used to playing two games a week. And so I think, for both clubs here, you've seen moments of fluidity, and I think you've also seen moments where it's kind of like walking through mud a little bit, where you're doing the right things, you're just not able to finish or execute at the efficiency rate that maybe you're accustomed to. You just got to push and grind your way through it and almost will that rhythm to come. And I think whoever comes away with the victory here will be in a much better place, come the next ball game.
A disadvantage maybe, too, playing on the final night of the first round.
Yeah, absolutely. The NIT opened up on you had games. The Kent State game, for example, against Youngstown State was Wednesday. So they got back on the floor faster after the end of the regular season, and they get a little bit of layoff between game 1 and 2, where these two teams got a longer layoff. And then we'll have a quicker turnaround.
Dee Collins has led Houston Baptist in scoring. She's got 13 points, their only player in double figures. It's a great D by Sophia Wired. We talked about all the many ways in the open in which she can impact a game. That's one of them.
Yeah, great job defensively. She moves her feet. That time got a block. And we talked about her job as kind of as a catalyst on both ends of the floor. He's just took one-on-one inside. Good footwork.
But good luck stopping that.
Yeah, but Sophia Wired as a point guard, right? Just under 13 points a game. 13 times this year she's had 7 or more rebounds in a game, and 14 times 5 or more assists in a ball game. So she's very impactful in multiple different ways, and she's one of those players you just cannot have off the floor. For Coach Collins.
Yeah, she leads and she wins. Collins coming up empty there. Wired actually was a rebound away from a triple-double when Toledo beat Ohio in the quarterfinals of the MAC tournament. 19 points, 10 assists, 9 boards. And if memory serves, she was on 9 rebounds for quite some time, and you were watching the box score in real time, expecting her to do it, and in the end she couldn't quite get there. Lockett denied after the steal. That's Vujakovic. 5'11" and so long inside, tough to score on.
And a lot of the core players, your Locketts and your Wyards, this is their third season of action, and they both. Quenisha Lockett started since her freshman year, but Sophia Wyard got the luxury, and it is a luxury, to play behind a veteran point guard in Mariela Santucci, and she could learn and develop, at a pace where not too much was asked out of her too early. And that year of learning and playing, she was in the rotation, but that year of learning, coming off the bench, watching the day-to-day grind of how to handle it, how to handle yourself in between games from a mentally and physical standpoint, just bode well for her. Though when she was in the starting lineup in year 2, she could hit the ground running, and she hasn't stopped running, here in her third season in a Rocket uniform.
Here she is finding Nan Garcia. That's off the front of the rim. Vujakovic grabs the rebound. One of those great what-ifs. Wyard's freshman season, remember, right before everything got locked down in the world of sports, really ground to a halt as Vujakovic misses the 3. Toledo was the 9th-seeded upset Central Michigan in the quarterfinals of the MAC tournament. Who knows what that Toledo team might have done. Same with the men, who were playing their best basketball of the season those last few weeks. But we'll never know.
I mean, what a feeling it had to be. I mean, you're in the highest of highs. Garcia getting to the cup.
Nice.
But you're in the highest of highs. If you said played your best basketball tournament, for the women, they got an upset win. For the men, you're the 7th seed, going to play the 2 seed, which is against your arch rival, and then all of a sudden, bang, snap of a finger, it's over. It's just done. And there's no, a lot of teams around the country are in that same boat. And hopefully, here we are 2 years later. Hopefully, we're on the other side of it, and we can go forward, quote unquote, normally.
Vujakovic, tough shot with her left hand. Julia Vujakovic now with 7 points, under her season average of 9.2. That ended a stretch of more than 3 minutes without a basket for Houston Baptist. That's off the fingertips of Sammy McConowitz. Husky ball with 3:52 left. Toledo finally starting to put a little bit of distance between themselves and the Huskies. It started right there, that early. Well, it doesn't really matter what tournament you're playing in March. The name of the game is survive and advance. Toledo trying to survive. A real test from Houston Baptist here. They lead by 14 with 3:52 left, and Houston Baptist earlier in this fourth quarter picked a real bad time to go cold.
Yeah, and a lot had to do with Toledo's defense. He didn't give them any edges, any corners, where they could get some dribble penetration and then, break down the defense. If there's a breakdown right there, and they missed the layup.
It's been that kind of quarter so far for Houston Baptist. 2 of 10 from the floor.
Their shots had to be over perimeter shots over contested hands for the most part. Toledo's done a good job of rebounding the first miss.
Now, Toledo's just 3 of 10 themselves from the floor in the fourth, but they're 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Houston Baptist hasn't gotten there yet. Now, that won't help. Airmail 3 from the wing by Kennedy Wilson, a 43% outside shooter. Missed all 3 she's attempted tonight, has just 1 point. Great scoring balance from Toledo. 59 points for the game. 4 players in double figures. Nobody more than 13. Jansen with a missed 3. Swatted out of bounds by Toledo.
A good possession there. Got a little dribble action there. Forced the help, and Jada Jansen got a wide open look. Just couldn't get it to fall. That ball allows Toledo to put some pressure back on the Huskies here.
Jefferson bobbled the handoff. She'll launch a 3 from the top. That's off. Houston Baptist shooting in the fourth like they did in the first when they really struggled. Dug themselves a 16-point hole. There's Jetta Jansen kicking that to Nan Garcia. Here comes Jefferson on the run. Jansen showing us why she was Defensive Player of the Year in the Great Lakes Valley Conference last year in Division II before transferring to Toledo.
And this is small. It's in a small detail here. She didn't panic. You know, you get someone that maybe has an edge on you, has a step on you, get into the rim and transition. You end up hacking them or, bodying them up and put them on the free throw line. But she just simply got back, walled up, got big, and forced, the shot out of bounds, which, where the ball go out of bounds, allows your defense to set back up in a 5-on-5 setting.
Jefferson got fouled by Jansen.
Just as I say that, Jerry Jefferson turns the tables. But you know what I mean, though? You see it all the time. You get in transition, one-on-one, barreling down, the offense players barreling down the defender, and you get a collision. You don't need to give up on the play. Just wall up, get big, make him shoot over the top of you, and maybe, come up with a miss. Easier said than done, though, in the moment. We're sitting up here. They're on the floor competing.
Jada Jansen, by the way, somebody that we maybe haven't given enough props to over the course of this season for Toledo. She has been huge coming off the bench.
Yeah, and she's just getting better and better. As this season's going on, more comfortable playing at the Division I level against Division I competition. And what she does is she gets versatility. To Coach Cullup offensively, gives her a ball handler, a shooter, some size inside where you post up your guards, but defensively, she allows you to guard bigger guards and give them trouble, as they try to penetrate and get in that painted area. And, case in point, she was huge, in that second and third game against Ohio, guarding the likes of CeCe Hooks and company. And that was an adjustment that Toledo made from game 1 to game 2 and 3 was played a little bit smaller, with Jada Jansen in there, and she did a great job.
Toledo just trying to get this one over the finish line. A date with Kent State awaits in the next round of the WNIT. Nice move. Nan Garcia now with 12 points.
She's been big here. You're right, 5 players now for Toledo. 4 players for Toledo in double figures. Another balanced attack by the Rockets.
Sammy McConowitz has only taken 4 shots, but she's got 13 rebounds. And McGuire with a miss. So Tricia Cullup calls a timeout, intended as a rolling timeout to get Lexi Lance, one of her seniors, into the game. Instead, it's the first. 48 seconds left in the opening round of the WNIT. Tricia Cullup has got her seniors into the game. There's Mariah Copeland, went to nearby Notre Dame Academy. And Lexi Lance in, and Ella Doherty as well. Most nights she's the only Scot in the building. Not so tonight with Donna Finney, the Houston Baptist head coach. And an and one opportunity for Tamia Jefferson. What a cool experience for this historic Houston Baptist Huskies team. First ever postseason appearance in Division I NCAA women's basketball for them. Just their second ever D1 winning season. Their first since 2007-2008. And the good news is for them, they've got everybody coming back next year.
Yeah, look, this tonight didn't go as planned for Houston Baptist, obviously, right? You want to come in here and get a win in your first postseason opportunity, but it doesn't take away from the season that they had. Obviously, tremendous building blocks for them moving forward. They'll use every experience, good or bad. They'll use it to their advantage and learn from it and be better. Come next year and start the season with a lot of confidence, with everybody back and looking to make another run in conference play.
Ella Doherty, first year playing in the States. We know she's got a really nice outside shot on her. Someone to develop in the next couple of years.
Yeah, real quick release.
This will be Toledo's 27th win of the season. Coach Cullup said it earlier, goals twofold. 1, to win the WNIT. 2, to get to 30 wins. Houston Baptist will bow out at 16-11, but what a season it's been for them as Abby Sutherland cans the three from the top. We said at the name of the game, survive and advance. Toledo got a real test from Houston Baptist, especially in those middle two quarters. They move on to the WNIT with a 61-51 win.
Well, survive and advance, like you mentioned here for the Toledo Rockets, and having a week off, you knew it was going to maybe